it has just occurred to me that we are incapable of denying the afterlife. There is no possible way for us to deny the afterlife. Now, believing in what happens in the afterlife is a separate issue, but there is no possible way for us to deny that there is an afterlife. And you may be saying, well, I believe that nothing happens when you die. This is especially for you. I'm speaking to you, my past self, who used to believe that, and all the current people that think nothing happens when we die. And I ask one question: what is nothing? What comes to mind when you hear that question? Are you able to define what nothing is without just saying nothing is nothing? Well, what is nothing? You can't define a word by just saying nothing. Nothing's nothing. It's nothing. Well, what is nothing? Nothing is something. There is no conceivable idea of what nothing is because nothing does not exist. There is no case in which nothing is an actual conceptual idea. The only thing that we have that gets anywhere close to the idea of nothing is zero. In terms of math, it's zero. But even the idea of what zero is it's something. It's the absence of something, which is still something. So to say that nothing is nothing, you can't. You cannot say that nothing is real because nothing is something. So when somebody says, I don't think anything happens to you when you die, nothing happens to you, what you're actually saying is something happens to you when you die. We are literally incapable of denying that there is an afterlife. Because when you say that nothing happens, you are still saying that something happens when you die, whether you like it or not. You cannot, because when you think of what nothing is, and for my past self who thought this was true, my idea of what nothing was darkness, just existing in dark space forever, for eternity. That is what my concept of, what nothing was. When I die, that's what happens to you. Nothing happens to you. You exist, you cease to exist in a void. Now that's my concept of what nothing was. Other people might have a different concept of what nothing, but you still have a concept. You have a picture in your mind of what nothing is, which means you're defining nothing, which means you are saying that it is something. So we are incapable of admitting that there is no afterlife. So when you say that nothing happens when you die, you are just in denial of the fact that something happens to you when you die. You're just a person in denial. So you have to come to terms with the fact that something does in fact happen to you when you die. What happens to you when you die is a completely different subject. But you can no longer say, if you truly actually think of this, if you are someone who actually believes that nothing happens to you when you die, you have to ask yourself, well, what is nothing? It's the absence of everything. The absence of everything that we know. Do we not believe that there is, yeah, it's the absence of everything that we know. Okay. Well, that's what we know. That's not a fair assessment of saying, because you're still saying that everything that we know is going away. Okay? But that still means that something's going to happen afterwards. There's still going to be, it's not just like, oh, we cease to exist. Yes, we do cease to exist on this planet. But I'm trying to understand the concept of what nothing even is. I can't even explain it. I can't even explain when I say, oh, okay, I cease to exist. Well, then what? Well, then it's nothing. But it's like, well, but nothing is something. Like maybe you can't imagine what that looks like, that's a fair argument of, oh, I don't know. Saying I don't know that's a fair argument to say I don't know what happens to you when you die. Separate issue. But to confidently be able to say that nothing happens to you when you die, it's utter buffoonery. I'm flabbergasted at this concept. You are in denial of an afterlife. There is an afterlife, whether you like it or not. You have to admit that there is an afterlife. It is because it's impossible to conceptualize what nothing is. Define nothing. Nothing is nothing. Well, that's something. The idea of nothing is still something. Well, okay, what's something? Anything is something. Well, what's anything? Now, maybe someone could give a better definition of what something is without saying anything. I cannot. So I can only say anything is something, which means if you point or think or say or do anything, that counts as something. So something is an infinite, it's an infinite idea. Something is infinitely possible. So nothing falls into that box.